Happy Wine Wednesday, everyone. I am sipping on some Pinot Noir. Holly, what do you got there?
It's Sierra Nevada, our local brewery, Oktoberfest beer.
I want to try that so badly. I'm guessing, Ray, you got some water?
Oh, I forgot to get it before I sat down.
Uh-oh.
Well, he's cheersing us in spirit. Anyhow, happy Wine Wednesday, everyone. Sorry we were absent last week. I was not doing too well. Much better now, obviously, and we're back. And it is open chat because I felt like not good for about a week, and so I didn't have any time to like make any big plans for tonight. So it is open chat. Let us know if you have questions that you want to talk about, and if not, we'll talk because that's what we're here for. And if you're watching on Facebook, let me know that you can see us because I want to make sure that this new streaming experience is working. Last week or 2 weeks ago we had Facebook people, so I'm thinking we're okay. But let me know. Hi, Shyla. Happy Wine Wednesday. And Holly, you said you have something to. We were a little bit late because of me, as usual, but also because we were gib-gabbing beforehand about everything from spices to plants to to seahorses. And Holly, you said you have something to share. What's up?
I do. Nothing really seahorse related, but kind of cool and fun. My husband Scott has a new friend. The last several nights he's been visited by a baby opossum
Oh,
in the house. And
oh.
as you know, I keep my house open in the summer. I've got, those magic mesh screens on the doors, and during the nighttime we leave
Which
the
are
house.
very cool. Wait, which are very cool, you guys. Like I had to learn this when I went and visited Holly. Like you don't close the door. You just literally make these metal screen things click together, and then
Magnetic, yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it keeps bugs out and things, but it does not keep wildlife out. So anyway, Scott woke up one night and, he falls asleep on the couch, usually with snacks nearby. And so he fell asleep. He had a bag of chips next to his head. And we have, the clips for the chips. So the bag was clipped shut. But he hears this kind of rustling sound, woke him up. And he turns on his flashlight, and there's a tiny little possum about yay big
Aw.
trying to get into the bag of chips. And then it left, it saw Scott and left. And it's been returning like every night. It comes in and it hasn't caused any trouble. It hasn't really gotten into anything other than a couple nights ago. It got into the goldfish's bag of food because they have pellets, and the Ziploc thing wasn't secured all the way. So he woke up in the middle of the night hearing the rustling sound, and it was sitting there eating goldfish food. So anyway, we keep milk bones on hand for visiting dogs. We don't have any dogs right now, but we keep milk bones for our friends' dogs when they visit. So he decided to offer it a milk bone every night. So every night he's been putting out a milk bone next to, where he falls asleep on the couch for the little
Mm-hmm.
possum to have. And so the other night he woke up with a start because the possum was sitting and walking on him.
Oh wow.
And he was dead asleep, and it woke him up, and he jumped, and the possum went flying.
Oh no.
But apparently it trusts him enough because it came back and got its treat. And so we had a discussion and made a decision that the little possum is probably an orphan because it's so little. It's not an adult.
Yeah.
It's still a baby. It hasn't hurt anything, and they're not bad animals to have around. They eat pests and things. So we decided that it's welcome in our home, kind of like that cat that comes to visit sometimes that
Sure.
doesn't belong
Sure.
to us. So we actually got I never knew this, but I looked into it to figure out, what kind of things possums eat. I said, well, we should probably be feeding it something nutritious for it, not, you know, crap food, junk food like dog treats and stuff. So there's actually possum chow, like
Oh,
cat,
wow.
and it's on Petco and PetSmart and Chewy and Amazon and all that. So we actually ordered a bag of possum food so we can put out a little possum food for it to enjoy.
The only thing that's making me nervous about this entire story is putting out possum food might attract other possums. Like you might
Well,
end
I
up
don't
with a
think
problem.
so because it's in the house. Like Scott says, no, anything can come and go out of the house. As you know, I keep the house open, but
Hmm.
most animals don't want to come in because they smell people. They smell, I mean, in the 9 years we've lived here, no other animal, other than we sometimes get birds in the house,
Right,
but
right.
I've never had the wild animals come in the house. But
That's so crazy.
this little baby, I think, like I said, I think it's an orphaned baby, and for
Sure.
whatever reason, it likes Scott.
Yeah.
So we're like,
I'm
okay.
not, I think it's
It
cool. I
hasn't
think,
pooped in the house. It hasn't tore stuff up. It's not building a nest. So we're like, well, and
only other thing I would say is just keep it on the radar, meaning it will grow. It will get to the
they
point
get
where
to
it
be about
wants to
the
make a
size of a
nest.
cat. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I
But
mean,
it
maybe
doesn't
you'll have,
stay long. I mean, we talked about, and the thing is, being wild, I don't think it wants to live here. I think it's just visiting, and
yeah,
it's looking for food or whatever. But they don't like to be, they don't want to hang out with.
domesticated.
They're not. It's
They
not
don't want to be
really.
your cat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think,
Well,
it's probably just like the squirrels or whatever, although the squirrels don't come in the house,
well,
but
Ray just said that chipmunks, squirrels, and cats come in his doggy door constantly.
yeah,
I would
that's
just ask
cute.
the question, and guys, if any of you, if you're new watching, yes, we're just having a conversation because we're a community and we talk about
We
anything and
talk about,
everything that's going on.
yeah,
If you have
seahorses
a
aren't sneaking in.
Seahorse question, that's what we are here for. But if we
Yeah.
don't have questions, we're going to talk about whatever's going on just to have a fun family community conversation. But, anyways, back to that. I'm curious to everybody who is watching right now, like,
Who
what are
has
your
that
thoughts on that?
experience? Yeah.
Because there are so many people that have had terrible experiences with, like, say, raccoons or
Yeah.
even possums or whatever. But we're in Holly's case, we're talking about a baby. It obviously has an affection for Scott.
Mhm.
um I already mentioned, let's be careful about the food, that it doesn't attract adults that would tear the place up, and be careful for when this guy becomes an adult. But I mean, I think you're just trying to do the right thing, right, Holly? Like,
Well,
you're
it's
just trying
just
to do the
a
right thing.
friend. Like, we have a
Yeah.
cat that lives in the neighborhood, and it comes over not every day, but sometimes we won't see it for months.
Yeah.
But it'll come in the early morning. We get up in the early morning. It comes over and it hangs out. It gets some love. We don't feed it, but it hangs out with us and takes a nap and then it leaves.
Yep.
And it's in good health. It obviously belongs to somebody, but it's
Yeah,
not our cat, but it's just a friend.
it
And I'm
is.
like, okay, I have skunks in my yard that eat the fallen bird food and stuff out there.
Sure.
And I come out in the early morning and refill the feeders and stuff. And the skunks don't mind me, and they don't cause a problem. They're like, "Oh, it's you. You're the one that brings the fit." It's just
Hmm.
it's just kind of, oh, they're friends. But most animals, like I said, they don't want to come in the house. So for this one, and it's interesting to me that as big as my house is and stuff everywhere, as you know, you've been here, it's not trying to get into any of the food that's in the kitchen or the dining room. It's not chewing up anything, or it only comes and hangs out with
With
Scott.
Scott. So
So I'm
I mean,
like,
I mean,
I don't know. It sought him out as a friend. So I'm like, well, it's up to you, honey. I'm like, but
Zen said she has. Oh, I can't see it. Hang on. She has a yard possum. It eats with the
mhm,
cats. You feed it leftovers. Oh, wait. And it eats the big tree roaches. Nice. Right.
they're
If it's,
insect eaters. They eat ticks and stuff. Yeah,
I was
that's
going to
their
say,
main diet.
if it's working for you, let it work for you. But we're just, as a channel, not advising anyone to allow these animals in your home because they do get bigger.
Yeah.
They can cause trouble. It is interesting that it's only hanging out with Scott, but
Mhm.
it might be Holly. Like I know the layout of your house. It
Yeah.
might be that it's coming in the back and it hasn't had the courage to make it to the kitchen, right? Like it
I
gets to Scott.
It could be, or it could we think it's coming in the front door. I I
Really?
I don't know. I think it's been in my bedroom because I think I heard it the first night
Gotcha.
because I turned on the light and looked and didn't find anything. I was like, what did a rat or something get? I'm like,
Yeah.
what's in
Yeah.
here? But I didn't find anything. And that was the first night that I got up in the morning and he says, you're not going to believe this, but
Yep.
that was the night that it was tapping on the chip bag. And he said it's really timid, like it wasn't like aggressively trying to get into stuff. It was just kind of tapping at the bag,
Feel
like
well. You're
feeling it
probably
out.
well. You're probably right. It's probably a little orphan, and I think it's awesome that you're going to try to help it. I mean, that's so
Mhm.
cool. Just saying, for any like in my area, I would not be taking in a possum, but in Holly's area, it's a different situation, right?
But they're one of
So
the most beneficial animals you can have around because they're
Yeah.
not
yeah,
threatening of any kind. And if you have a problem with things like Lyme disease from ticks and that,
Yeah.
they
They
suck
eat
up
ticks.
ticks like your vacuum cleaners.
Mhm.
ooh,
Yeah, they
nice.
eat pests. They eat rats and mice, I read. They
And
eat,
snakes, lizards,
most pests, and
Well.
and they're not generally known to contract rabies either.
no,
So here's my prediction, you guys. There's all these Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook channels of these exotic pets. We're gonna see Holly's friend Boro or whatever she names it. In the future, he's gonna be her little baby, and he's gonna be her house pet. Watch.
Now we do have a
Or
trail cam
Scott's,
we
I
want
should
to
say.
set up, so we can video it, but because I haven't seen it yet. He sees it every night, but
Wow.
I haven't met it yet. But we have a trail cam. I need to get an SD card for it and set it up so we can try to watch it.
Gotcha.
So that'll be fun. The only
That will be.
seahorse thing I have to say,
Okay,
actually,
yeah,
on another
seahorses.
subject, seahorse is what we're
Yeah.
here for. I had to I had to take apart my return nozzle on the tiki tank today
Okay.
because it was doing something weird, like I wasn't getting the flow out the end of the return nozzle. It was like backflow was coming out where it joins onto the intake the incoming pipe.
Okay, wait. I was reading Zen's comment. New channel, Holly, no
Yeah.
more possum.
Yeah.
But repeat that one more time. I'm sorry, guys, but I was
Okay.
not paying attention. Go ahead.
So I noticed I wasn't getting flow out of my return nozzle the other day.
Okay. All
Yesterday, I
right.
noticed this. It was backflowing out where the return nozzle joins the pipe. And I'm like, what's going on? So today was water change day. So I told Scott about it, and it wasn't flooding it was inside the tank. It just wasn't
Right.
coming out of the return nozzle. It was coming out of the pipe that leads to the return nozzle.
Gotcha.
So I told Scott, I said, I'm having a plumbing issue. If you could check it out for me, when you have time. And
Sure.
he was busy at the time, and I said, well, I'm doing a water change tomorrow anyway, so when I do that, when the water's out of the tank and the pipe's exposed, then
Let's get your help. Right.
look at it. So he pulls it off for me and blows on it, and he could tell. He says, well, I think, he says, you've got something stuck in there, maybe a snail or something. And I said, well, there are no snails in this tank. And I'm like, but there's bugs here. I said, it could be a beetle or a moth or who knows what got
Right.
stuck
Right.
in there. So anyway, so he showed me how to take apart the locks. So he says, well, you can just start taking it apart, and flushing it out till what you get, whatever it is, out.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing I did was the nozzle section where the nozzle joins onto the little pieces. And inside of it, I found my missing what do they call that? Siphon break. Because
Oh
my take, as you know, is home plumbed. It's do it
no. Yes.
yourself. Scott did it for me. And what he used for my siphon break was the end of a air stone, the little tube that goes in an air
Okay.
stone. He had
Okay.
put that, he drilled a little hole in the pipe, stuck that thing in there, and we put an air line running
Yep.
to the tank. That's our siphon break. Well, you'll remember on a Wine Wednesday, maybe 6 months ago or whatever, I said my siphon break thing disappeared and water was squirting out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I never found the piece. I had to find another thing to put in it. Well, it somehow ended up inside that nozzle
Yep.
and had been flushed all the way to the end and started interfering with the flow. And there it was inside. so,
Gosh. But
so
you
that
found
was,
it.
yeah, yeah. So we got it. I saved it. He's like, oh, good. Now you have a spare for if the other one stops working.
Love it. Love it.
But
Good way to fix
uh,
it. But I mean, you just did give a good tip too. That, if something's not flowing right, you take it apart
something
one
might
piece at
be
a
inside
time,
of it.
figure it out. Exactly. And I see, Ray, you're answering questions. Let's see. Bonnie asked, Fish Magazine says, ANC, okay, ANC says there's a product called Chemipure
It's
Elite,
Chemi,
which
Chemi,
claims,
not Chemo.
did I say
Chemi,
chemo? Chemi, you're right.
she typed Chemo.
Okay. Well, but I know Chemipure. I know what Chemipure is for sure. Um, Says filters out phosphates and silicates. And Ray, what was your answer?
I just don't feel it's appropriate for a Seahorse tank because of the cost of it. And the fact that if you're doing proper maintenance and water changes, you should have no need of it anyway.
Have
It's
you ever
not a
used
substitute for lack of uh, doing the things that you need to do.
So Chemipure, and I've got to be honest, I have actually a video on Chemipure, and I use Chemipure as a fix. I'm trying to remember exactly what I was fixing. I'd have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it was cyano.
They have just they have a regular ChemiPure, and they also have the ChemiPure Elite.
And what's the like? I need to look it up myself. What's the
Okay,
difference?
I've never ever used it myself. I
Okay.
know that in my conversations over the years, I've been told that it is expensive, and I haven't really had a need for it. But with Seahorse tanks, like the things that it's taking out, it will help a little bit with dissolved organics, but not as much as just straight carbon or protein skimming. Protein skimming is an excellent way to get rid of a lot of DO, but carbon is also a DO remover. And in fact, according to Randy Holmes Farley, it will remove some DO types that skimmers won't remove.
Okay. All right. And I'm trying to find my own video. No, I'm 99% sure now that I'm thinking about it. The original ChemiPure is like not something you would add to a tank like a carbon or like a filtering method. It's something that you use in a tank to
To get
get
rid
to,
of
to
something.
fix. Yes. And I'm pretty sure in my case it was cyano. It did work for me. It didn't hurt the seahorses, etc. You guys can watch the video. I'll find it. Or Zen Ginger, if you're watching, find that video, ChemiPure. And
But the
but
thing that gets me though is people will
let's look
use
up
it.
ChemiPure
They won't
Elite.
correct the reason for why they had the problem in the first place. So it
Well,
comes back again, and then they have to reuse it. Like ChemiPure doesn't get rid of the problem and keep it away. It gets
okay.
rid of the immediate situation. But if you don't change what you're doing, it's going to come back again.
It's like a quick fix type
I
thing.
agree with you to an extent. When it comes to cyano, in my case at least, I believe that it was brought in by something, and I this was an adolescent tank. Like
Hey,
there
the
was no
cyano is always
macros.
in your tanks. The spores
I
are
know.
always there.
I get that. I get that. Well, I can just tell you this, Ray. In my case, in that tank, it got really bad. I used ChemiPure, and then of course I did up my maintenance, so maybe that's what fixed it. But I never had a problem again.
Well, you may have subconsciously done something different with the tank so that it wouldn't grow again.
Well, I guess my only point is when you're talking about something like cyano, it's so I understand it's always in the tank. I really do. I understand you have to keep up with maintenance. I understand your point and they're valid. Your points and they're valid. But when it gets so bad and it's covering the tank, it's so difficult to fix that something like ChemiPure in that situation worked for me because it killed everything there. And then of course I understand it's still there, the spores, all that. But then with regular maintenance, I could keep up with it. But it got so bad that it was like
Yeah.
everywhere, and trying to clean it up was impossible because you're just spreading more spores. You're just
So it gave
mixing
you
it
like
around in the
a head
tank.
start on the problem
Yes.
and helped you take care of it.
Yes, exactly.
When Bonnie says she's thinking of going on vacation and thought it might come in handy. So it probably
Oh,
depends on if you have like a
a
problem with
problem.
that from just something random like that. Maybe it can be something
Well,
that,
and let's
and
look
then
together because
see what it's about.
I don't
I've
even
never
know
used it.
what this new. So I see ChemiPure, but ChemiPure Elite. What
Oh,
is
there it
that?
is
Let's.
right next to it on the left of that. What you just looked at, look to the left. It says Elite.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what it is. All in one
Here we go.
chemical filtration media. Huh.
So now it'll say about it. Maybe you can see
We're all reading here, guys.
pH levels. Is that
And
what it's for, to control pH? Like what is what is it supposed to do?
Supposed to
let's take
bind
a look.
with your phosphates and other things that it's
Yes.
supposed to remove. Is it'll bind with it and tie it up so it's not free working in the system to do what it would do naturally.
Well, and a good point, and I make this in the video that I use ChemiPure, is that it doesn't work unless you remove it. Just like an algae scrubber,
Gotcha.
just
Yeah.
like macros, just like refugium, any of that stuff doesn't really work because unless you remove
So it soaks
the
up
stuff.
the stuff and then you dump it and put in more is kind of the idea of it.
Just like yes, and right in the
I think they
in the
claim
video
too,
where
if
I
you do leave it in too long, it doesn't release whatever it has bound up.
are you sure?
I've I think I've read that somewhere, but like with carbon, there's many discussions that go on. Some forms of carbon apparently do release
Will
in the
leaves, yes.
and then there are other forms that are not supposed to release it. So I'm not
Truth,
sure on the
truth.
different types and
Well,
how.
again, the picture I was just looking at looked like a piece of foam that was probably infused with ChemiPure or something. I don't know how
It's a
that works.
powder, I believe, or granules.
So that's what I was
Yeah,
going
it's
to
like
say.
grains.
Is when I used the original ChemiPure in that video that Zen so lovingly showed. Thank you, Zen. It was to fix a problem, an immediate problem. It was not a long-term fix, as Holly said. It was a short-term fix. As Ray said, it wasn't going to solve the problem. I was literally just trying to get ahead of the problem, right? It's like when you have dinos in a reef tank. And oh my God, if there was just something that could kill them all, and they're still there, you got to fix everything in the tank to make it better so that they don't multiply and become all over again. But something that can give you that footstep where it's not like, oh my God, it's every day, it's never ending. That's what I used ChemiPure for in that tank. And it did work for me, but it is a quick fix. I don't know about this Elite. I'll have to do some more research. But in the powder form, it's literally going into the water, binding to the things that I want removed, and then you have to remove it. So I don't know how. I swear that was a. I swear when I looked at it, it looked like a foam. You guys got to look with
It
me. Here we
looked
go.
to me, it reminded me of the charcoal granules that you put like in charcoal bags.
That doesn't look like a foam to you guys? Yeah, maybe I'm just.
Yeah, when you look at it close up, yeah, it kind of does. I've never seen it before in real life, so
Well,
thought
maybe it's just the
so.
bag. I don't know when you have a dog. But then when you look at the bag, it's a media. So
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. I can't really answer that, Bonnie, but I would say that I think often we go, if we're going on vacation or we're worried about something upcoming,
Mhm.
it's really easy to say, I need to buy a bunch of stuff, right? If you've got your tank handled and it's running smoothly and you don't have problems, I say leave it, right? Don't
Yeah.
do anything because because there's the theory too that if you take too much phosphate out of a tank, then that can cause problems too. If you don't have any other life in there, no macros, nothing like that, it's not as big of a risk. But I'm just saying, if everything going as planned, just because you're leaving doesn't
Mhm.
mean you should add more equipment.
Wait and
Because
see it, but there's a problem. I'd say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Wait
that's
till you
it.
come back and then see if there's a problem or not, because maybe there won't be.
Exactly. And have a trusted seahorse sitter or,
Mhm.
whatever your method might be. But anything that happens, like if you're talking about a weekend or even a week, if you've got a plan for keeping your seahorses fed
Mhm.
and keeping, like, say, auto top off going, for
Mhm.
instance, my all-in-one doesn't have an auto top off. So if I go a day or two without adding water or doing a water change or something, then all of a sudden my pumps are blowing bubbles and it's chaos. I have to have a good seahorse sitter here for when
Yeah.
I go on vacation to make sure they know to add water and that kind of thing. But when you're talking about things like cyano, what did I do? When you're talking cyano or phosphates or any of that, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah. Everything's
Okay.
fine here.
All right. Sorry. When you're talking about that kind of stuff, though, that's for me at least, when you have an extreme problem, you fix it, but you don't need to do it until there's a problem, kind of thing.
Yeah. Don't
Um,
don't plan on having a problem. You know,
yeah.
don't plan ahead for a problem. Wait till there is a problem, I would say.
Well,
And
and
if
there's
you've got
something to be said.
somebody that's following your routine closely, I think, what do you do every day, and you teach that person that, or close enough, then you probably won't have any problems, honestly.
Yeah, but like phosphates again and cyano, that's something that you could be gone for a week and come back, and it might be atrocious, but you can deal with it. It's not going to
Yeah.
hurt the seahorses, was
Hmm.
my point. But yeah, totally agree. What else was I going to say? There was something I saw I was going to say something
I
about.
honestly, I don't even check my phosphates now. I want to say I haven't checked phosphates in probably a year or more.
Well, and like in my
I don't
case, I've
check
got
anything
macros now.
anymore, but the seahorses are years old.
Right,
You
right.
know, as
So,
long as everybody's the same old, I don't really feel a need to check stuff
well,
anymore.
but again, for you newcomers, that's because she has a tank that's years old.
Years.
For anybody
Mhm.
starting up, please test your
I
water,
used to
please.
check every day. I want to say my first
Yes.
year, I was checking all the time.
Hmm.
I want to say up through the second year, I started kind of phasing to where I wasn't as much, but I changed things, because I learned during that time. So I kind of changed my system up during the second year or so. So then I continued monitoring stuff. But I want to say after about 3 years in, I
Yep.
like, okay,
Yep.
everything's going smoothly. I don't need to check. I just keep doing the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. And I don't really do the water tests anymore like I
Well,
used to.
because you have learned your seahorses, you know your tank, you've had it for years, and if there's a problem, you're going to know it almost immediately. So that's the difference in someone brand new.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem I want to discuss, but I'm trying to make sure we answered all the questions about this. Oh, I did want to, excuse me, I did want to say too that for something like ChemiPure or anyone that's concerned with phosphates and silicates, if you're doing a macro tank or a natural seahorse tank or have coral or any of that, I almost steer clear of things in those types of tanks. Like I have macros in my all-in-one now. I would never use anything like that in my all-in-one because those macros need phosphates
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
So it really does depend on the kind of tank you have, and if there's a problem, like we went back to. Um, Anything else on this, or you ready for me to tell my problem? All right, I'm going to take that as a go. All right, so here's the question. This is very specific, I think, to probably people that have all-in-one tanks. But lately, I had to, and Ray, you'll probably be able to help with this. So I've had the K1 homemade media reactor in the compart. So I'm sorry, let me back up. So in the back of the all-in-one, there's two compartments on each side, and then there's two big compartments in the middle for the pumps. Okay. So on the main side, I've got a sock, then I've got the K1 media reactor. Then on this side, I've got UV and I've got skimmer. on the side that the K1 media reactor is sitting. It's worked fine forever. I've never had problems. But the suction cup stopped suctioning, and I tried to add a new little suction piece to plaster it to the wall. And I think maybe because of the macros, maybe because of the age of the tank, I don't know. But it's too, even when I clean it, it's too slimy. A suction cup doesn't stay anymore. So it won't
Is it
keep it.
plastic or glass that the
It's
suction cup is
plastic.
sticking to? It's plastic?
Plastic, yes.
Yeah. Um,
So
if
wait,
you
wait, wait. Let me
use
finish
a
telling you.
razor blade to scrape it down, or use Holly's method, the magic eraser.
Right, right. I do, but wait, wait. You didn't let me finish the question. So what I'm saying is I can clean the edge of the plastic. I can add a new suction piece to my K1 media reactor is homemade. I can stick it to the wall and it sticks. But then within a week or two, it's
Mhm.
floating again. It's because I've got macros in the tank. I've got, slimy algae. I've got stuff going on in that tank that I need to fix, maybe. Or maybe it's just because I'm having a more natural tank now. But, anyways, suctioning it to the plastic is just not going to work unless I want to buy a new piece every few weeks, clean it, and do that. So, here's what I came up with. I came up with using sponge to basically hold the K1 media reactor in place. But for some reason, putting that sponge in, what's causing it to happen is that the sponge is causing the water to like overflow too much, and then the pump is spitting out bubbles. Did that make sense? Did I
Yeah,
describe it good
Yep.
enough?
yeah.
Okay.
I'd take
So
the sponge out, get a magic eraser, and use it once a week
yeah, just keep
on the suction
replacing.
cup and on the
On the
surface.
suction.
Yeah.
Or
So
maybe
why
you can glue something to hold it.
maybe, but why
Crazy
does
glue.
the sponge cause that water flow bubbles effect?
It's
Because
changing
you're
the flow.
blocking.
It's changing the direction of flow,
Yeah.
and now it's coming up, maybe going over the sponge and coming down and creating a turbulence with the bubbles because it was
Hmm.
something that didn't exist before.
Yeah, you're blocking flow somehow. You put something new in and it's got to go around and it's blocking what used to
Or
happen.
through.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
I don't like it. I wanted that to be my easy fix, damn it. All
uh,
right.
Zen
All
has
right.
a question
Yeah. Go
about the
ahead.
two different chemicals to clarify what's what.
Oh my God. Oh God. See, I have messed up this entire Wine Wednesday. Thank you, Zen. I have been talking about Chemi Clean, not Chemi Pure. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much. Chemi Pure, you're right. God, it's been a bad week. So my video is about Chemi Clean. Chemi Pure is a media. Again, I'm still going to go back to everything that I said. You don't need it till you need it, but it's more like a carbon that is focused on phosphates and silicates, everything Bonnie said. I'm still curious about what elite means, but thank you so much for correcting me because I'm getting my words mixed up for sure. But thank you seriously for correcting me because I don't want to end this with anybody thinking that I use ChemiPure as a powder to, fix something in the tank. ChemiPure is absolutely a media. In fact, is it even in powder form? Like, I think I have some in the
I
bedroom.
think it's granules.
Hang on, let me go grab it. Um, Anything you guys can talk about while I go grab it, or no?
Well, I got a dog going crazy here, but
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
we
Holly,
don't have much.
tell us about your next adventure in decorations while I go grab this to show
oh
people.
shoot,
Oh, okay. Well, actually, our weather's cooling down. Fall is coming. And so probably next Wednesday when I do my water change, the seahorses will get their Halloween things, and I'll be changing out their decor from summer to Halloween theme. So that's coming up soon. And I got them some new stuff this year, a new ring for Dandy to sit in. So hopefully he likes that. So yeah, they'll get some new stuff. And yeah, it seems to be something the seahorses enjoy when I give them something new to check out and sit on. So I don't know if they remember from year to year what they have. Like if I put their Halloween stuff in, I don't know if they're going to remember that they had it last year, but they do seem to enjoy it regardless.
Okay, I'm coming back right now. I was trying to find it. I can't. I know I have some somewhere, but I remember that it is granule. You have to put it in a pouch. Yeah. Okay. So,
That's
anyways,
what I thought about the Chemipure, right? I've seen
yes,
that before. I think yeah, it reminds me of when you get the charcoal to put in a media bag or something, like their little grains or pellets or something, right?
kind of like carbon, right? And I'm so
Mhm.
sorry that I mixed that up. Thank you, Zen, for saving the day and not let me end this and saying go watch that video about ChemiPure because it's not. It's about ChemiClean. And that's why I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, you only use that in an emergency. But I would also say with ChemiPure, I mean, Bonnie, if you want to add it, if you don't have anything that's going to be lacking because so with Chemi Pure, not Chemi Clean, um, one of the things that I noticed is I tried to use it on my reef tank, and I noticed that my coral didn't like it at all because it was making the water too clean, right? So if you're talking about a
Mhm.
seahorse tank, there's nothing else in it. You want to add it to your tank just because you're going on vacation. Let me backtrack everything I said before because I was mixing up the names and say,
Mhm.
go ahead. It's not going to hurt anything as long as you don't have macros or coral that are dependent on phosphates, but it's not also a necessary thing. And I really do apologize, you guys, for my confusion with the names. I'm sorry. Um, Zen wants to know, do you have a Thanksgiving turkey for the seahorses?
Oh yeah. If they made one, I probably would. So far at PetSmart, they have the holiday stuff. And I've seen Halloween, Christmas, and I want to say there's something else they might. I don't know if it was Easter or something. And some things they have are appropriate for the seahorses, and then some things I'm like, oh, they really wouldn't dig on that because they're stuff for fish tanks in general. And some things you see are like, oh, the seahorses would like that because there's something they'd like to hitch on, or they make bubbles or whatever. And some things not so much. But I so far have not seen any Thanksgiving things. I could imagine though if they made a circle shaped turkey with a hole in the
Mm,
middle like they do with the I have some
sharks.
Halloween and Santa things and stuff like that where they make this ring, and it's designed I think for pictures like when your fish swim through it, take a picture
Yes.
or whatever. But of course the seahorses like to sit in them. They'll
Yep.
hang into it and sit in the middle and look cute. So I've got Dandy's heart-shaped reef that he had for summer that both him and Sadie are loving. They both love that thing. And in the winter time, in around Christmas time, there's a Santa face that the seahorses like to sit in the middle, of his beard and all that. And Halloween time, there's a few things because I want to say there's a pumpkin face. I
Hmm.
think now they have like Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. Like they have Jack and Sally and and those characters. And I've seen some of those might be cute. Like I think there's a circle thing that's Jack's face that the seahorses might want to sit in. But I got them circle thing that's got different little Halloween characters all around the circle. And it's about
Cute.
this big. So it's the perfect size for Dandy, who has trouble swimming. He likes to sit in those above his dish and eat that way. Like
Yeah.
he'll come and sit on it and eat his food. So
Mm.
those circle things have been cool for him. And Sadie likes it too because she'll come and sit with him.
Yeah.
He eats with him.
Yeah.
So those things have been cool, and it is cute. Like they have a haunted house and all these different things you can get, and it's kind of cute to see the seahorses interacting with these things like the saloon doors. Some people have seen that. I think Kelly, you got saloon doors.
I did.
Get those,
Zen,
and
Zen, Zen said they have a little seahorse with a sign thermometer stand
I
up for
have
inside the
that.
tank. Okay.
I had that one
Nice.
until the thermometer stopped working. It fell out like the glue dissolved or something. It fell out. So then it was just the empty frame for a while. But
Yep.
I still have that. But yeah, for a while I had that in the tank, and it was kind of cool because it had a thermometer. And then Dan
Hmm.
used to like to hitch to it because it was about his size, and he'd sit there with the other seahorse and the thermometer. But yeah, you just be creative. You go out and see stuff, and as long as it's aquarium safe, they have like the cutest things that you can
Yep.
put in your tank, and the
Bon,
seahorses
bon,
don't care.
yeah. Bonnie said she has a creature from the Black Lagoon in her freshwater. See,
Yeah.
you know what I want to do? I want to ask you guys if you're on Facebook,
Mhm,
message me these pictures or post them in the group
mhm.
because we can share them while we're live. And I would love to see all the cool things you guys are doing with
Yeah,
your tanks.
yeah, yeah.
And Ray, I did see that you were trying to warn me about the difference between Chemi Pure and Chemi Clean. So I'm sorry I didn't pick up on it quick enough, but I'm glad you guys caught me before we ended so that I could clarify again
Which
that they
is
are
what?
different.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Um, both have specific needs, and I would still say both are only when you need them, but not as much of a thing. If you want to use Chemi Pure, feel free. It's not going to hurt anything as long as you don't have macros. Um, but yeah,
And
I don't.
honestly, in my tanks, I don't use anything special. I just do water changes.
Yeah,
The only thing I have that is remotely special for them is those char chambers from Robert King.
yep. Char
And
Chambers and K1. You switched over to K1 too.
I do have K1, but I just consider that biomedia.
Sure, sure.
And really I think any biomedia will work. I like the K1 because it's compact and it gives you a
Yeah.
lot of surface in a small area.
Hmm.
But I mean, I don't add any special chemicals or anything to correct stuff. If there's something I need to correct, I do it by a
Manually.
water change. I do it manually. If there's
Well,
algae,
and
I
that's
just pull.
so I would I agree with Holly, and like in my tanks, I just use K1. I use the Robert King chambers like she said.
Mhm,
And you and skimmers. Skimmers are very
mhm,
important. But the
mhm,
thing is, I would love to have someone do a really high tech,
mhm,
crazy covered by monitors and,
mhm,
all the stuff that they got going on now, Seahorse tank and come share it because there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just
mhm,
what you want to do, right? If you want
mhm,
to keep it simple, we've shown Holly has a tank that is literally strictly artificial,
mhm,
nothing live in it besides a little sand for goby, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
it.
I've just got goby as sand. I have one little crab in there left. He's
But
about
I mean,
2 years old,
but
but
as far as
yeah,
the
nothing
tank,
special. Hmm.
no rock, no
Hmm.
sand, all artificial. She does everything from the sump.
Hmm.
I have a tank that I do things from the all in one,
Hmm.
but I wanted macros. I missed macros. Speaking of which, guys, we're gonna have a conversation because I think my lighting sucks. Um, I had the perfect lighting for macros previous tanks. This one keeps growing the damn green hair algae. So we'll talk about that next week or another week. But my point is, I have this tank that's macros and rock, not live, but
Hmm.
recycled rock. You can do it so many ways and get away with minimal work, or minimal expense, I guess I should say. You don't have to buy all the products. You don't have to buy all the stuff. You can literally just do water changes and make it work. Um, and then, of course, you could do a high tech. I wonder if you could do a high tech Seahorse tank and not have to do water changes as often. I really wonder that. What do you
Hmm.
think, Ray?
Oh,
He wasn't
sorry, I was
listening.
reading.
He wasn't paying attention.
So the question is, do you think that someone could use all the latest high tech, like the monitors and the supplements and the chemipures and all that to do a tank where you could do way less water changes on a Seahorse tank, like have minimal hands-on need?
Um, you might be able to make it less, but not a way less. And especially when it comes to the cleaning, chemicals and so on, and the best filtration in the world is not going to get the uneaten food and detritus out of the
That's
system.
what I'm thinking. It
Um,
would have
Well,
to remove the organics. You'd have to have a system that would be changing water for you too, because what is there that gets out high organics? Is
what?
there
Wait, wait,
any?
wait, 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 wait. Time out. Time out. What causes high organics? What causes high organics is typically uneaten
decaying
food
food and detritus.
and
Mm-hmm.
detritus and seahorse poop. So if you
Mm-hmm.
had a high flow tank that had crazy ass filtration that
Mm-hmm.
was removing it constantly, I could see it working. I really
That's
could.
crap.
Not saying you could get it to a point where you never had to do a water
It's
change,
only
but
removing it from the free water column. It's not removing it
Yeah,
from
it'd have to.
contact. So it's still going to decay and release the dissolved organics into the water.
Yeah, it'd have to
not if you
remove
remove it
it
in
from
time.
the
Yeah.
water.
There isn't a filter going that will trap the stuff without letting it decay. And if it decays, it's going to release those
So
organics.
here's my
It'd
question
have
then.
to be
How,
like
wait,
a
wait, 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 wait.
rotating media changer. Like it'd have to pull a sock and put another one in. It'd have to pull a cup or
You,
whatever.
so so you
That
so you
kind of
mean
thing.
like so you mean like the super
Physically.
expensive time out. So you mean like the super expensive roller thing that I saw at Macna that looks like a
Mm-hmm.
toilet paper roll, but
Yep.
it's literally leading it out of the tank. That's what I'm talking about. If you're
Mm-hmm.
willing to spend the money, I really feel like it would work and would help. Or if
But
you're
it
talking
will
about a
help.
system, well, hang on. If you're talking about a system with a sock, how fast does decayed food, or how fast does food decay, and how fast are organics released? Because if you're talking about it all going into a sock, if you remove your sock twice a day, it's not releasing the organics.
It'd be really
No
nice if
water
you could do
change.
that, but who's got the patience to do it?
Well, if I would rather remove a sock twice a day versus, just change them out, throw that in the laundry
Mm-hmm.
versus, this huge water change.
But the thing is, you don't just have that sock. You have all sorts of things in your tank that are going to trap the uneaten food and detritus.
Sure,
And I don't
sure.
know of any water flow that's going to release all that and get it out of the system.
I hear you.
Yeah, the only thing
I-
I have right now is me, but like I said, if you could get a Seahorse tank Roomba and have it transport the water and food it collects outside of the system, and then something else replaces the water that it pulled out, if it
Which,
was
I mean,
effective, that would work, I would think.
so here's the thing. I would love someone like Reef Dudes or
Mhm.
someone like that to actually try to do this, or send Ginger, what, anybody who has the time, patience, and money to do this. I'd love to see it happen
Uh-huh.
because I totally believe it could.
You
Not for
need a
the average.
little mini robot with a power head on it. So it's going to go and direct the power
Fix.
head flow all over the tank there. So it's going to put all that stuff in suspension so that your toilet paper.
Well, that would be the Roomba.
I have a quick
But no,
update.
hang
I
on,
got
hang
a
on. Time
message
out.
from
Wait, wait.
Mary. We can
Holly,
share her
Holly.
stuff.
Okay, great. Let me finish with this and then we'll go to that. So, all I'm saying is, I know that Reef Dudes is a personal friend. I've met with him many times and I've seen him do systems like this. Not for seahorses, mind you, but systems where there is an auto, water changer. He doesn't he doesn't do shit. It changes the water for him because he uses all this high tech stuff. Check out Reef Dudes, he's awesome. And then auto top off puts the water back in. So I don't know about adding salt water back in. I'm not sure about auto water change. I've never done it, but I think it can be done. I know it can be done. So if you do it, come share it, is what I'm saying. All right,
But
go ahead,
first, if
Holly.
you're going to remove the water, you have to get the other stuff in circulation that's trapped.
Sure. I agree. I agree with that. I think that one of the reasons that my system all of a sudden started having this problem, I don't think it's, I don't honestly think it's the suction of the K1. I don't think it's the sponge between the K1 and the plate. I think it's because I turned up the pump because I wanted more flow in the tank. And I think that just the nature of the all in one is saying this isn't working for us. The water's going through too fast. But yeah, in a normal tank, if you've got a sump or if you don't have the all in one nature of it, I think that higher flow, and I just think it could work. So let's try it. Absolutely. Okay, go ahead, Holly.
Oh, so first of all, to answer Zan, that's exactly what I got from PetSmart. I got the light up ghost for the tiki tank
Oh,
in here, and I got the wreath for Dandy to sit in because yeah, it is. I got it already, and yeah, it's big. It's like this big in the middle, so it'll make a perfect seat for him to sit in at his dish and eat and hitch to. So that's cool. But my main thing was my friend Mary just got a bunch of new babies from Ocean Rider. And I had been asking for permission to share because she's going to bed right now, she said, but she'll try to join us next week. But she gave me permission to share. So it'll take me a minute to pull them up on Facebook and then I can show you guys because they are so adorable.
I love new babies. Go get the babies. And Ray, I'm going to ask you while she's doing that, why wouldn't an underground filter help?
Because it sucks the crap down in. Underground filter,
Okay.
the filter process is the water coming from above the surface, down through the surface, under the plate, and then up the uplift tubes. But if you do it the other way, have your power heads plugged in to direct the water flow down the uplift tube. The water goes under the plate, comes up through the gravel, so it's not drawing it down in through that substrate. I used to operate
Wait,
reef tanks that way.
you just lost me. So wait a minute. I thought an under gravel filter, like you said, pulls it down and then up.
Yeah.
No?
Well, the basic
So
under
why
gravel
wouldn't that
filter
work?
has air tubes. You put an air stone or open-ended air line, whichever. You put it down the tube, the water flow comes up with the air bubbles and it draws the water from under the plate up that tube. But to get under the plate there, it draws it from above the substrate, down through the substrate, underneath the plate, and then back up the tubes. You don't want that because you don't want the damn stuff getting down in the substrate. So
Ah,
you use a reverse flow and put a power head, and especially if you use a power head with a quick filter on it, Holly knows the quick filter,
yep.
because then it's filtering the water before the power head pushes it down underneath the plate. So you don't have any crap building up underneath. And now the water will push up through the substrate and force the stuff to remain at the top surface where you can then
So,
vacuum.
so time out. What if you don't have a substrate?
Then you
What about
can't
in a
use an
bare?
undergravel filter.
Because
Why?
there's no gravel to go on top of it. If
It's
it's
not an
I mean,
under
like,
undergravel
gravel,
filter.
that's how under gravel filter works, is it's the plate and then the gravel sits on top. So the stuff is trapped underneath the gravel. So if you don't have gravel, there's not a point.
it wouldn't still suck uneaten food and etc. I've
Yeah, but
Then
never
you
used
just
one,
need a
guys.
quick filter. Then you just do a quick filter like what I would do.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm learning too. All right.
Well, if you
All
don't
right.
put gravel or substrate on top of the filter plate, it's not going to filter. All it's going to do is draw down through the holes in the plate and then back up the tubes and circulate it and then suck it back down again, back up, circulate it,
Uh,
just keep on going.
okay.
So
Because
the
Gotcha.
there's
quick
nothing to
filter
trap.
method is the best. And the
I
quick filter
understand. All
method
right.
is very easy to clean.
So does everybody want to see some cute seahorses and a beautiful tank?
Yes. Zen says yes. All right. Go.
Okay, so let me do the share. Do we want sound or should I kill sound? Because she's talking about it. Is that okay?
Yeah, as long as there's not like music that's
Yeah,
copyrighted.
she's
Go ahead.
she's talking about the seahorses and asking
No.
some
Yeah.
questions actually. So I'll put
Oh,
share.
perfect. All right.
Yes. So here we go. I will start it up. Oh,
Peanut looks like he's definitely going to be an orange or a yellow. Although they change colors according to their mood and what they're latched on, so you never know. But there's those little buggers. Aren't they cute? Look at that little face. And then down here, you get this little one. This one, I almost wonder if it's going to be a pied because I see like whiter spots in the middle of the yellow. I'll have to ask Heather what she thinks about that one. The pied are more rare, is my understanding. Look at this little bugger. Isn't he cute? Oh, I got one right here looking at me. I didn't even see you there, buddy. Hi. How are you? Let me turn the camera this way so we can get a... Hi. You're very cute. You're watching me and I'm watching you. Yeah. You eating all the little cocoa pods? Yeah. Heather Hillman, what do you think of that one? He almost looks pied. See the white and mixed in with the yellow? I don't know. Very cute. Oh, look at this little bugger. Hi, darling. How you doing? But they definitely are more active, and they're all settled in now, doing their little hunting and exploring thing. That little one in the back there is watching somebody intently. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, I just love them. He's holding on to his brother's head. That's as good of a hitch as any, I imagine. Looks like Cirque du Soleil. This one's hanging off of that one, and they're gonna swing on the trapeze. Woohoo! Hey, little dude. Whoop. We got Buzz Lightyear zipping across. Oh, Mario Andretti coming around the bend, trying to catch up. Yay! So that was Frozen. I set up a little feeding station right there. I'm hoping that that's going to be good, and they'll start hanging out at that one spot. They're adorable. Where's my big guy? He's hiding. He was out earlier. It's really cute. He looks like a giant compared to them. I'm gonna name this one Buzz Lightyear. He buzzes around. I didn't realize how much I missed having the little ones around. Not that I want any babies by any means. That's a pain in the behind. But they're very cute when they're little. He's hunting copepods. Nothing. This one's got pretty eyes too. He's got like a black stripe through the eye that I don't see on the other. That one's latched on to some dragon's breath. All right. Hey, Odie. Hang on, buddy. I can't stop staring at him. Oh, it's good to see him mowing down on the frozen ones. Ah, see the little poof of, it looks like smoke that comes out of the top of their head when they eat. Watch the top of his head. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, I didn't do it that time. I tried to paint a wine glass with a seahorse. That was an epic fail. They're much cuter in person. I might just snap a photograph of them and stick it on my wine glass. All right, well, I'm gonna go out and feed the critters outside, and I'll be back and stare at you guys some more.
So cool.
Isn't that
Okay.
cool? That was so entertaining. I think just watch. Yeah, it's so relaxing watching them all. And yeah, so they just arrived. They're from Ocean Rider, and they look so little to me. They're so little.
So how big is the tank?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know the details of her tank. She's had it a while. She has a big adult seahorse like mine that she's had for a long time, a few years or something, I think. And it's much bigger, and I think it was her only one left, I believe, so she decided to get some friends, and I think
Awesome.
so she got these ones from Ocean Rider. And to me, it's been a long time since I had little seahorse, and
Yeah.
I want to say when I was selling mine, they were bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but it's been a long time, you know.
You can't tell by a video though. Like you can't
No,
tell. It
but
depends on
in
how
her
big
other
the tank
video,
is.
she has it sitting next to her big seahorse, and it was about the size when I put Scrappy Doo in with the big ones, and he was about an inch and a half or so, I want to say at the
So couple comments. First off, if your friend watches this episode, or even
Mhm.
if you want to tell her, I can give her the app I use to make the Seahorse Whisperer logo. And when you guys see the shirts and the logo, it's actually my seahorses.
Yeah,
So I found an app where you
take a
take the
picture.
seahorse and you take the picture and you trace the seahorse, and then you can impose it on almost anything.
That's
So yeah, the logo
She
is
says
my
she might
seahorse.
join us next week.
That'd be
She,
awesome. The
she
only other things that I would say is that we need to tell her to get that green thing out of the tank. It's
Mhm,
something that completely disintegrated in my saltwater tank. The
mhm.
little green anemone type thing.
Oh, I didn't notice what's what. So
It's
I don't
really
know
cool, but
my corals and plants, so I wouldn't know.
right. Well, she can join us next week and we can talk about it. Other thing was the clownfish that I saw.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Just
noticed
wonder about
those
that.
too. They're little. I'm like, I didn't see them causing any problem, but I know they're a potential problem as they grow.
They're not a problem, right? That's it. They're not a
Yeah.
problem when they're little and
Mhm.
little as the seahorses. They're fine, but
Maybe she'll take it out on
potentially,
her own when it gets bigger and starts biting her every time she puts her hand in the
yeah, that's it.
And I
That's
think
it.
she has multiple tanks too. So I
Yes, she
I
can
think she
play
moves
around.
stuff around maybe. So
No, I appreciate you sharing. I hope she comes next week. Holly, invite her to, ask her if she wants to come, like literally join us. Come
yeah,
in and
she has before. She's been a guest before in
yeah.
the past.
Well,
And she said, yeah, maybe next week. So
all right, that would be awesome because they are adorable.
uh-huh.
Would love to hear how they're doing because I mean, and I'd love to hear more about the tank because it looks like a really well put together tank that
She's
she's
had
done a
it
great job.
going a while because she's kept seahorses for a while. I
Yeah.
want to say she started about the same time I did, I think, or maybe shortly after. I think her and Heather and I all kind of
Yeah.
started right in that time frame, I want to say.
Yeah. Well, and hearing her mention Heather was a great thing because I know
Mhm.
Heather's a great mentor
Mhm.
and would love to hear how she's
But
doing.
then
I need
what
to
do
touch base
you
with her.
think? Because I don't have any experience with piebalds, and I was telling her on that one because I've had ones that where they'll have like a white patch or something, and that's different, and they can change their color and change the color of that. But in a piebald, isn't it like missing pigment, like it's missing color altogether, so they can't change that part of themselves? Is that right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So if it's a true
Well, that's
piebald,
what
you'll
to
never
watch.
see color there. Yeah. Yep.
That's kind of
Yep.
what I was thinking, but I've never had one. So I said you might want to ask Heather because she's had them. But I
Sure.
kind of thought that was the deal.
Well, and I've had piebalds that were labeled piebalds and then colored up.
Turned
So,
out not to be. Yeah, yeah. Because
yes.
I had seen mine had looked because hers did it. It had a lot of definition in the color, but
Yes.
I've seen that in some of my females, and then they change.
Yep.
And they're not like
It
that anymore. And then I also said, also, she got them from Ocean Rider. So I would think Ocean Rider would know. And if they were piebald, they would
they'd be
say they
charging more.
sell them
Yeah.
for more.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I mean, we'll see, but usually, like you said, Ocean Rider would charge more. A piebald it's a genetic thing. It's not
Yeah.
a color change thing.
Yeah.
So they literally have splotches where they just don't
They
have
can't
color.
control the color there. It's just white.
Right.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've had Barbori that could completely turn iridescent where you could see through them. I swear to God. Or,
Mhm.
turn pink and, cream and all these, crazy colors. But
Mhm.
a piebald is something a little bit different. I don't know. I hope she will join us next week and we can hear how the seahorses are doing because they are adorable.
Aren't
And
they sweet? Yeah, and I
well,
love her setup. I love all the little plants she
yeah.
has, but also a lot of swimming space in there.
Oh,
You
her Buzz
know.
Lightyear is adorable. I love when the
Yeah,
seahorses
that
zip
fast
across the
little one,
tank,
he's all zip, zip.
making me want to set up more tanks. Damn it! But no, no,
Right?
no, no. I gotta wait till I have Fry. Right? That's
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
But anyways, no. See if she'll join us next week. That'd be awesome. And if she can't, tell her we're impressed. Great
Mhm.
job.
Yeah,
Would love to collaborate and talk more. But
yeah.
guys, for tonight, we're hitting that 10 o'clock mark. Is there anything else? Ray, did you have any comments or thoughts?
Nope.
I guess not. Okay. Ray's usually doing 2 or 3 things while
Yeah.
we're talking, so he's like, yeah. But anyways, guys, I didn't see any other questions, so we'll be back next week, hopefully with what's her name? I'm sorry.
Oh, Mary.
Hopefully with Mary, to talk about her new seahorses. Hopefully, I'll have some more updates. And I do want to talk more about lighting with macros because I'm having trouble. But and I share it when I do because that's how
Mhm.
we all learn, right? But I appreciate everybody who came tonight and hung out with us. And again, if you have any guest requests or topic requests, obviously just reach out because we're willing to talk about whatever. We do this open chat because if we don't have a guest or a topic, we're just going to chat because we're a community. But we appreciate everybody coming. And guys, let's say Happy Wine Wednesday. And thank you for Mary for letting us share your new adorable
Yeah,
seahorses.
thank you,
Awesome.
Mary. They're adorable.
Yes, really cute. I'm jealous. I want the little ones again.
Yeah, the
All right.
babies are so cute.
Happy Wine Wednesday, everybody. See you next week. Bye.
Good night.